everyone. Today we are at ISM Technology Recruitment Limited to meet with Peter Fishback, President, and คุณเทวีเพ็งแก้ว General Manager. สวัสดีค่ะคุณพีเตอร์คุณเทวีสวัสดีค่ะ
Nice to see you.
Nice to meet you too. Are you ready?
Sure.
Okay. First of all, we would like to know about the overview of the tech workforce in Thailand.
Well, the problem that we've seen for many years is that the demand for Thai tech talent is greater than the supply. This is not news. In the 30 years that we've been in business here, we've always seen a greater demand than a supply of really good tech talent with the skills that companies really demand.
Any notable trend that you observe?
Well, I think this is true everywhere because technology moves so quickly. It's difficult for the tech workforce to develop the skills that they need to stay current, especially in a market like Thailand that is not as big and as broad as many other larger countries. It's harder for people to have the opportunity to really develop the latest cutting-edge skills in technology. Having said that, Thailand does a pretty good job of utilizing technology. Many of the companies here are using really the latest technology, but the challenge is finding good people who can really embrace that technology and put it to use for competitive advantage.
Okay, what are the top 5 skills most in demand today?
Let me pass that question over to Kun Tewi because she deals with the clients and the candidates on a daily basis and would have the most current opinion about that question.
โอเคค่ะเชิญค่ะ
สำหรับ Top 5 Skill ตอนนี้ที่เป็นที่ต้องการมากๆเลยนะคะ
ค่ะ
เราอ้างอิงจากจำนวน requirement ที่เราได้รับจากลูกค้าโดยเฉพาะลูกค้าในกลุ่มที่เป็น financial ทางด้านการเงินเป็นหลักแล้วก็อ้างอิงจากหลากหลายแหล่งก็คืออาจจะเป็น IT Job Board บ้างหรือว่าแล้วก็จากเว็บไซต์ต่างๆที่อยู่ในกลุ่มธุรกิจเดียวกันนะคะขอสรุปคร่าวๆ5ตำแหน่งประมาณนี้นะคะ
ค่ะ
ตำแหน่งแรกเลยซึ่งเป็นตำแหน่งที่ต้องการมาตลอดแล้วก็ยังเป็นตำแหน่งที่ยอดฮิตอยู่เสมอก็คือในส่วนของตำแหน่งที่เป็น developer นะคะก่อนหน้านี้เนี่ย developer เนี่ยอาจจะทำได้แค่ core skill หลักๆคือสกิลใดสกิลหนึ่งไม่ว่าอาจจะเป็น Java หรือว่า .NET อะไรอย่างเงี้ยค่ะแต่ตอนนี้ปัจจุบันนี้องค์กรหรือว่าเทรนด์เปลี่ยนไปคือน้องๆ developer หลายๆคนสามารถที่จะเขียนได้หลากหลายภาษามากขึ้นนะคะครอบคลุมมากขึ้นไม่ว่าจะเป็นทั้งหน้าบ้านที่เป็น front end แล้วก็หลังบ้านที่เป็น back end นะคะรวมทั้งดีไซน์ database ตั้งแต่เริ่มต้นจนจบคือองค์กรเนี่ยสามารถจ้างคนเดียวสามารถทำงานได้ครบจบในคนเดียวได้เลยนะคะเรายังมองว่าสกิลนี้ก็ยังเป็นที่ต้องการสูงอยู่เหมือนกันนะคะแล้วก็สกิลที่2เลยนะคะจากจำนวน requirement ที่เราได้รับนะคะสกิลที่2ก็คือ tester โดยเฉพาะที่เป็น automate tester หลังๆมาเนี่ยคนที่ทำ tester เนี่ยไม่ใช่แค่ทำ tester อย่างเดียวยังสามารถที่จะ coding ได้ด้วยสามารถที่จะเขียนโปรแกรมได้ด้วยแล้วก็สามารถใช้ tool ที่หลากหลายมากขึ้นโดยเฉพาะคนที่ทำautomate test เนี่ยก็คือเป็นที่ต้องการอย่างสูงค่ะ
ค่ะ
ก็ส่วนมากก็ชอบเรียกอันนั้นเป็นfull stack developer เป็นสิ่งที่คุณทวีพูดเมื่อกี้เรื่องคนที่ทำ front end and back end ได้ที่เข้าใจวิธี develop ระบบเหมือนจะไม่ต้องเป็น coding อันนี้อย่างเดียวเขาต้องเข้าใจ scope ทั้งหมดเขาเรียกว่าเป็น full stack developer
ค่ะ
ค่ะ
สกิลต่อไปเลยก็คือสกิลทางด้าน Data เนื่องจากว่าเราอยู่ในยุคของข้อมูลข่าวสารนะคะ Data เนี่ยเป็นข้อมูลที่สำคัญมากขององค์กรคนที่มีความรู้ความสามารถทางด้านวิเคราะห์ข้อมูลหรือว่าข้อมูลทางด้าน Data โดยการใช้พวก Big Data เนี่ยมีความสำคัญอย่างมากคนที่มีสกิลนี้คือส่วนใหญ่จะเน้นคนที่มีความสามารถทางด้านวิเคราะห์ข้อมูลสามารถเขียนโปรแกรมได้โดยใช้ tool ต่างๆที่เกี่ยวกับทางด้าน BI เช่นTableau Power BI และยังสามารถเขียนโค้ดได้ด้วยอย่างเช่นภาษาแบบ Python เป็นต้นภาษา R เป็นต้นค่ะ
ค่ะ
ส่วนอีกตำแหน่งหนึ่งซึ่งก็ยังได้รับความนิยมและความต้องการมากๆเลยก็คือจะเป็นในสายของ business ก็คือ BA หรือว่า business analyst เนื่องจาก BA เนี่ยเป็นตำแหน่งที่ค่อนข้างที่สำคัญขององค์กรมากๆเหมือนกันเพราะว่าเขาจะเป็นตำแหน่งที่ทำงานเกี่ยวกับ cross functional เนาะระหว่าง non technical กับ technical skill ให้สามารถเข้าใจตรงกันได้ทำงานในระบบนั้นๆเนี่ยราบรื่นมากขึ้น BA ก็ยังเป็นตำแหน่งที่เป็นที่ต้องการเหมือนกันหลายๆที่ก็ยังมีขาดตลาดแล้วเป็นที่ต้องการเยอะโดยเฉพาะคนที่ BA ที่มีความรู้โดยเฉพาะเกี่ยวกับแอปพลิเคชันนั้นๆอย่างเช่นแอปพลิเคชันเกี่ยวกับทาง banking เฉพาะเจาะจงเช่น banking พวก treasury อะไรพวกนี้ค่ะหายากมากเลยในตลาด
loans or credit or because it's very difficult for somebody to understand the business side and also the technical side and a business analyst has to be able to be in between and sort of translate from the business and commercial requirements to the technical requirements even if they're not a coder or a developer themselves they have to know what's possible and what the problems would be and be able to act as a go-between from the users to the technical and it's a very important role and you know that's also unusual because not everybody who understands business wants to understand technology so
yes
ตำแหน่งอาจจะเป็นอันดับ5อาจจะอันดับ5เลยก็คือในส่วนของที่เป็น cyber security cyber security ค่ะเป็นที่ต้องการมากโดยเฉพาะองค์กรที่เกี่ยวกับทางด้าน finance เนาะแล้วก็องค์กรที่เกี่ยวกับทางด้าน retail แล้วก็เกี่ยวกับภาครัฐบาลต่างๆซึ่งข้อมูลเนี่ยมีจำนวนมากความปลอดภัยในข้อมูลจากการที่จะโดนแฮ็กหรือว่าโดนโจมตีจากภายนอกจากโลกออนไลน์เนี่ยมีความเสี่ยงสูงมากเท่ากับว่าตำแหน่งนี้ก็คือเป็นที่ต้องการมากๆเช่นเดียวกันค่ะ
ครับไม่ก็ just to expand on that a little bit infrastructure in general is you know every company needs that I mean you may not need 20 people, you know, developers, you may need 10, 20, 30 developers. Infrastructure, you need fewer people, but they have to be really good if they're going to be aware of cybersecurity, performance network, adaptability. So when you have people working from home and you have many remote sites, you need to be able to understand the whole picture. So that's a very important skill that almost every company needs that.
นอกเหนือจากขอเพิ่มเติมอีกนิดนึงนะคะนอกเหนือจาก technical skill ที่กล่าวมาข้างต้นสกิลที่มีความสำคัญแล้วก็จำเป็นแล้วก็มีความต้องการมากๆตอนนี้คือในส่วนของ soft skill ในส่วนที่เป็น soft skill ค่ะอย่างเช่นคนที่สามารถสื่อสารได้ดีอย่างเช่นบางทีในเรซูเม่ต่างๆเนี่ยเขียน technical skill มาแบบเขียนมาแบบดีมากแต่ว่าคนนั้นเนี่ยไม่สามารถที่จะสื่อสารข้อมูลหรือว่า technical skill เนี่ยให้กับบุคคลภายนอกได้เท่ากับว่าทีมองว่าในส่วนของ soft skill ก็มีความสำคัญมากเช่นเดียวกันค่ะในยุคปัจจุบันอย่างเช่นสกิลทางด้านการสื่อสาร communication ในเรื่องของการแก้ไขปัญหา problem solving ต่างๆมีความสำคัญมากค่ะในปัจจุบัน
and English language proficiency is very important because even if the whole workforce is Thai, the software the company is using may be from Thang Pratet, or maybe they need to work with a consultant from overseas, or maybe they have a branch office somewhere else. And so English is the common language for IT. And one of the problems that we have in Thailand is that many very, very good technical people don't have the English language communication skills, and it makes it harder to manage a project or to really accomplish what they need to do. So, this is actually a challenge for us as recruiters because very often we find a candidate who is great technically and then they go for an interview or they do a phone interview with somebody from overseas and they fail because they can't communicate their knowledge. And this is, been a long-standing problem, but it still exists. It's still difficult.
Okay, so English is very important, even for the coder, right?
Yeah,
The developer need to develop this skill, English skill communication, so that they can communicate with others at
And
work.
it's communication. It's not grammar or great vocabulary. It's being able to communicate. It doesn't matter if they're speaking perfectly or clearly, as long as they can communicate their ideas and understand what's being said. That's the main thing. And we would really, I would encourage young people coming into into this career not to forget about keeping their English level, improved.
Actually, it doesn't have to be perfect, but can communicate what they think,
Yes.
what they would like to express their idea, so that other people can understand them,
And
right?
so that they can understand and give confidence to the person who's giving them their project or their work, that person should know, yes, they understood me. And they could kuigandai. That's really the key. And it's a big challenge for, I think, every company, but particularly for recruiters, because our clients will tell us, oh, we want them to know this, and this. Oh, and we want them to have good English too.
Okay, and so if you talk about the top 5, you mentioned about developer, the automate tester, the full stack development, data analytics, business analyst, and also cyber security. Plus the soft skill, which is English communication.
And just problem solving skills, and the ability to manage project management. You could say that's also a key soft skill.
That's very important, right? They have to be able to solve the problem when it's come up. ขออนุญาตถามเกี่ยวกับเรื่องของการplanning the career strategy. Any suggestion?
Well, okay, IT has many different aspects to it. As we were just saying, there's development and there's business analysis and there's networking. And I would suggest that if somebody likes IT or wants to get into an IT career, they plan their career path within those different tracks. Because most people will not be, somebody who's a network administrator is usually not also going to be an application developer. It's going to be a separate career track, and there's plenty to develop in each one of these tracks. So people should, gravitate to the skill that they like and that they're good at and that they want to become expert in. The key thing is, and this is not just for IT, but if you develop a specialty or an expertise, like your specialty is marketing, right? So this is, what makes you really valuable to your company is that you have really great skills in marketing. So the way to become valuable as an employee is to become really good and specialize in one or two things, but not to forget that you're part of a bigger picture. So here you are talking about technology because you understand technology. So it's not just pure marketing, it's marketing in the scope of technology. So that's true for IT also. If somebody is going to be a developer, they should understand a little bit about the business side and about how their application is being used. If they're going to be a network administrator, they should understand why the users need remote access or how they are going to use the laptop or whatever it is, so that they can contribute in a whole holistically, right? But in order to be really valuable and earn higher money and so forth, being differentiating themselves by being having some specialty that they're really good at, that's important. But they have to enjoy it,
Yes,
so
yes.
this is why they should pick a track that they feel comfortable with and that they can work in.
So you mean they should develop the in-depth skill for themselves and also the broaden their skill not only in that field. For example, like network can learn can expand to more like security things
and
that
understanding how what they are doing fits into the bigger picture. It also helps them work in a team because then they understand what the other team members need from them if they know what that person is doing. They may not be the person delivering that skill, but they should understand it. And the one thing that's a little bit different is when you're talking about coders, because coding, they should know more than one coding language. Okay, if somebody just knows one coding language, that's not enough anymore. Somebody has to be able to change and work with different projects. Oh, this one we're going to use Flutter, or this is Go, or this is Java, or this is. They need to be able to make those shifts. Otherwise, they will be not as employable, really, because most companies use multiple technologies. So different coding languages. So I would suggest that for developers, and it's really not a problem because developers like to learn. They like to learn new skills, and we can talk about that in a minute if you want. But that's really one of the ways that you can keep a IT person happy is if you give them the chance in the job to keep developing their skills.
คุณเทวีอยากเสริมอะไรไหมคะพอยนึง
ในส่วนของ career path ใช่ไหมคะคือโดยเฉพาะ developer ที่เราพูดถึงก็คือในช่วงแรกๆที่เขาเริ่มจะเป็นโปรแกรมเมอร์หรือว่า coding ก่อนเนี่ยอาจจะทำในส่วนของที่เป็น permanent จาก permanent เพื่อที่อยากได้แบบสกิลพัฒนาสกิลมากเริ่มต้นในการพัฒนาสกิลใช่ไหมคะพอมีสกิลมากขึ้นเริ่มเติบโตเริ่มหาช่องทางหรือว่าขยับขยายมากขึ้นเนี่ยอีกช่องทางหนึ่งซึ่ง challenge กับในส่วนของโปรแกรมเมอร์เลยก็คือนอกจาก permanent skill ก็คือในส่วนของ contract นะคะในทำงานในส่วนของที่เป็น contract เนื่องจาก contract เนี่ยโปรแกรมเมอร์เหล่านั้นเนี่ยสามารถทำงานได้หลากหลายมากขึ้นได้ทำงานกับองค์กรที่ใหญ่มากขึ้นแล้วก็หลากหลายแอปพลิเคชันหลายๆระบบแล้วก็อีกส่วนหนึ่งก็คือโปรแกรมเมอร์เนี่ยคอนแทคเตอร์เนี่ยค่ะอาจจะมีรายได้ที่ดีขึ้นด้วยแล้วก็ถึงแม้ว่าในส่วนของ benefit พวกโบนัสหรือว่าprovident fund ต่างๆเนี่ยแต่มันสามารถ compensate ด้วย salary หรือเงินเดือนที่ cover ในกลุ่มนั้นเรียบร้อยแล้วมันก็เป็นโอกาสที่ดีในการที่จะ step in แล้วก็พิจารณาในส่วนของงาน contract มากขึ้นค่ะ
I mean, if you think about it, in IT, many people change jobs every couple of years anyway. So working as a contractor, especially when you're, just sort of not brand new, not a freshie, but if you have maybe a year and a half or 2 years experience, 3, 4, 5, 7 years experience, you can be honest and say, okay, I'm going to work for this company on this project for a year or 18 months, and then I'm going to move to another contract somewhere else. It's not like they're job hopping, they're actually working on a project basis. And so they get a contract to do that through a company like ours or like some other agency, and they can develop those skills, and then when they move to a different job, they can develop other skills and learn another industry and become a more well-rounded set of skills. And as Kuntevi was saying, they make a little bit more money because it's a contract and it's not a quote-unquote permanent job. But what is a permanent job? I mean, many people change their jobs often, or if there's a downturn or they get downsized. So this is just being honest about it and, benefiting from, putting their skill to the highest and best use, which is, okay, I'm going to work on this project for this amount of time with this team, and then I'll move somewhere else. That's a really viable career path for many IT people. In fact, you might even say that it's more popular than just regular full-time employment, because most companies, why does this work? Most companies have different skills at different times. So this year they may be doing a project that's a web project, and next year they may be doing a credit analysis project, or core banking or something. So they need different skills at different times. No company wants to hire and fire people all the time, with different skills. So what do? They say, we want a fixed-term contractor. We'll manage them, but we want to rent them. We want to put them on a project for a certain amount of time, and then when we have different needs, we swap them out and get different skills. So that's why it's very, very appealing to an employer to use contract resources. And by the way, if they're working through a good agency, like say ISM, they will get not only more money, but they get health benefits, Social Security, all of that stuff is, the company, the agency takes care of all that. So it's really not that much of they're not giving up that much, and yet they're getting the flexibility to move and change their employer.
So that's another alternative. Interesting one, right?
And it's quite popular now. There's many thousands of IT people in Thailand work on contract.
Okay. What's the most effective way to find, select, and retain the tech talent?
You mean besides using ISM as your recruiter?
Yes.
Look, we just talked about what makes it interesting for an IT person, right? So if you give them an environment where they can be challenged and learn new technology and be given the flexibility and freedom to really develop their skills, that's very important for tech people. Finding them is really, it's a full-time job because there's not enough of them, and evaluating them and deciding who to hire or who to contract. That's why companies like ours exist, because the HR departments don't have the technical skills to evaluate people, and the IT department is too busy doing their job to sift through hundreds of resumes and make phone calls and find people. So I think, in terms of finding, working with a specialized agency is a good alternative. In terms of retaining them, again, giving them good pay, obviously that's important, but location is important. Okay, flexibility to work from home has been a big, advantage for many people looking at a job. They say, do I want to commute to La Prau every day, or do I want to work at home? It makes a big difference. And then, again, giving them challenging work and a team environment where they're not just, doing the same thing every day. Very important.
How do you compare Thailand's IT competitiveness with other countries, especially in ASEAN?
Well, every country has its own pluses and minuses and challenges. In some ways, Thailand does very well. We have great internet here. We have good infrastructure. But again, the main thing that we see as a difficulty is the shortage of people. But that's true for most countries in ASEAN. So I don't think that it's any different. Our competitiveness, I think, is more. It's a bigger question. Because the ability to, let's look at a country that has the complete other extreme, The example everybody always talks about is Estonia. Completely everything, government, everything, everything is digital.
Yes.
You want to buy a piece of property, you want to open a company, you want to pay tax, whatever, it's all online. That would make Thailand much more competitive, even if we weren't 100% like that. But there's a lot of red tape in Thailand for just businesses in general. And, technology can solve those problems. So in terms of Thailand being more competitive overall, I would say that sort of a more, e-everything approach, e-government and just e-business. Thailand is moving in that direction, but I think that would make us much more competitive because many other countries aren't doing that. Okay, Singapore is an exception. Singapore is already further ahead than we are on that. But in terms of being competitive in ASEAN, Thailand could jump way ahead if they digitalized more. And that doesn't mean just making PDFs of the same document. It means being able to do everything online and being able to actually interact and do business online so that when you send an invoice, you don't have to have the wet signature and the hard copy with the stamp and things like that. That would make a big difference for Thailand's competitiveness, in my opinion.
Okay, so we have to change the way of work also, not only like from paper to online, right?
Yeah, right. Use technology to enhance and improve the workflow, make it more efficient, not just replace paper with data. That doesn't really gain you the productivity and the advantage.
Okay.
So, one other thing.
Yep.
Okay, that would improve our competitiveness. Many foreign technical people would like to come and work in Thailand, and as we said, there's no, they would not be taking away any Thai jobs because there's a shortage of good tech skills here. So creating a easier way for foreign technical professionals, IT professionals, to come work here would also help Thailand's competitiveness because many countries around the world are starting to do this with digital nomad visas and with special visas for tech workers. That would be another way that Thailand could really improve its competitiveness, not just regionally, but globally. So I would suggest that that's something that should be considered.
Peter, you talk about buzzword, the digital nomad. Would you like to explain a bit about it?
Well, it's one of those words, as you said, it's a buzzword, and many people don't know what is a digital nomad. I mean, digital nomads are individuals who can work from anywhere for anywhere and would like to do that from whatever location they want. So this is the thing about Thailand. People want to come here. Thailand does not need to sell itself as a location. If you ask somebody, would you rather be in Thailand or anywhere, they'll pick Thailand. But the problem is that it's very difficult to legally work here. Even if you're working for a company overseas, technically you're breaking the law if you're working from Thailand unless you have a special visa. And a digital nomad, it should be very easy for them to come legally, be here, work for their clients overseas, and maybe even work for companies in Thailand and pay local tax on the work they do in Thailand. But it wouldn't be that difficult to facilitate that. And again, Thailand would benefit because those people would be bringing money into Thailand, spending money here. They would be transferring technical skills if they're working with local Thai IT people. And they would be making Thailand more attractive as a location for foreign investment. So if a foreign investor looks as to where they're going to put their company, their regional office, their factory, anything, they look at, telecommunications, are there good roads and ports, are there good infrastructure for our families, are there good, and one of the main things they look at is there good human resource available. And if it's technology, it doesn't matter whether those people that they're hiring are what nationality they are. Something can be made in Thailand and not necessarily 100% made by Thais. Now, again, no Thai jobs are being lost because there's not enough good Thai IT people. So allowing foreigners to come here would be win-win for Thailand, for the economy, and for the local workforce. So digital nomads, if given that kind of a structure, would be a big win for Thailand.
For both of you, how do you suggest keeping up with the latest technology knowledge?
ค่ะในการที่จะ stay up to date on technology นะคะก็คือหลักๆเลยก็คือพาตัวเองเข้าไปอยู่ในโลกของ IT ไม่ว่าจะเป็นจอยอีเวนต์ IT อีเวนต์ต่างๆเข้าสัมมนาอบรมแล้วก็ติดตามข่าวสารทางด้านเทคโนโลยีจากอุตสาหกรรมที่เกี่ยวกับทางด้าน IT ต่างๆและที่สำคัญที่สุดแล้วก็สำคัญมากๆคือเรียนรู้ด้วยตัวเองก็คือ learn by yourself นะคะก็คือโดยปกติไม่ว่าจะเป็นdeveloper ส่วนใหญ่หรือคน IT ค่ะจะมีพื้นฐานทางด้าน IT อยู่แล้วแล้วก็มีหลากหลายช่องทางในการที่จะไปเสิร์ชข้อมูลเรียนรู้อย่างเช่นว่าตอนนี้สกิลอาจจะมีสกิลนี้สกิลเดียวอาจจะแล้วแต่ว่าจะมีสกิลใหม่ๆเกิดขึ้นอย่างเช่น Flutter เขามีวิธีการโค้ดยังไงสามารถที่จะไปเรียนรู้แล้วก็หาข้อมูลด้วยตัวเองได้เลยค่ะ
ค่ะ
One of the things that is we suggest especially for coders or developers, do some things on your own, like have your own little project that you're working on. Say, I want to learn a new coding language. So at home, I might develop some new application or do something, not to make money, but just to practice and to learn the latest technology. To say, I want to see how does ChatGPT work or how does something else work. You do it on your own just because you want to learn. And then you develop the skills, and eventually you can apply those in your job as well.
So the coder is just like the athlete, like that they have to like practice all the time.
To stay current, to keep their brain muscle going.
Okay. Do you believe in the the upskilling, reskilling, and any important factors that that we should consider about it.
Okay.
And you
Well, we were talking before about like business analysts being in both.
Yeah.
If somebody, in terms of reskilling, sometimes what you see is someone who is, let's say they are in the accounting department and they're an accountant, okay? And the company says, well, we're going to implement a new accounting software. And you, Kun Samchai, are going to be the person who is going to be in charge of, the user experience. So that person then learns a little bit about the technology, and maybe they love the technology and they say, wow, I understand this, I'm good at it. And they sort of make the shift from being just purely an accountant to being a business analyst or to being somebody who works with the IT side to implement software, and or how to test software and how to understand, what the software can do. That's one way that people can reskill, is by starting from some particular other, whether it be manufacturing or accounting or anything, and move into technology because they learn how to apply technology to their area. In terms of upskilling, I think, again, what we said before, if people want to stay current with their technology, with the new technology, and they put the effort in to keep learning and to keep staying current, that's upskilling. That's because you're constantly staying ahead of the game by knowing what is the latest and the newest technology available.
Peter, does that process need to stop when you retire?
No.
Why not?
Well, because I mean, if you really love what you do, retiring is just sort of a point in time where maybe you're not working anymore or earning a living doing that. But if you have an interest in something, that interest doesn't end just because you're not, doing it. All right, the balance of how much time you spend on it will change, but it doesn't mean that you have to stop, everything that you've been interested in your whole life just because you're not working in that area anymore.
Last but not least, Peter, would you like to leave the quote for our Open Talk audience?
Okay, I would say stay curious. Never stop learning in all aspects of your life. Stay involved, stay curious. That's the biggest thing I could recommend.
Also, thank you so much,
thank you.
Kun Peter, Kun Tewi, for sharing your thought with us today.
Thank you, Kunwalikun. Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much
Ka.
for coming to visit us and for giving us this opportunity to talk with you.
Okay, and for our Open Talk audience, don't forget to click like and share and subscribe to our TCC Technology Group channel.